math students, and it could be one of my favorites already.
This is ASRJC. One of my favorite questions ever can be found in this paper. Although watered down, but still a well-balanced paper. Find out why in today's episode of PPR. Alright, welcome back to another video. This is Yao Le from Vantage Tutor, a class above the rest. And for today's prelim paper review, it is a JC2 WA1 special, and it is from Anderson Serangoon Junior College, H2 Math WA1. Now before I begin, these are the questions that I feel are insightful and probably worth your time to try. And if you would like to try this paper, you're invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary along with the download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how I did. And yes, I have started a tuition center. It is located in Boon Keng and ASRJC. Regular classes are up and running, and for the incoming JC ones, I have something special for you. This Sunday, there will be a free walk-in trial class on 15th February 2026, 1 PM onwards. So you don't want to miss it, and I'll see you there. Firstly, this is easily one of the more challenging H2 Math WA1s that I've seen for the JC2 thus far. And the best part about this paper is it included my favorite question of all time for application of integration. I actually have it in my tutorial questions for my very own students. So what is so special about this paper? Let's find out via my 3 matrices. Number 1 relevance, number 2 insightfulness, number 3 difficulty. Before I give an overall score, I recommend to you the type of student who should try this paper. And of course, if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, what would be a fair expectation of him from me in order for him to score an A in his actual A levels? Firstly, relevance. The topics being tested in this paper are the ones that are affected by the new syllabus. Your differential equation, you really have to understand your variable separable. Your application of integration no longer concerns your parametric equation, and your complex numbers has been watered down a lot, and then there is a bit more focus on your Argand diagram. And this paper seems to have them all. The application of integration, definitely something that will come out in your exam. Your complex number is really very much catered to the new syllabus. However, your differential equation, questionable. Because this differential equation, I think what they are doing with it is that they use it as a calibrator. Because the rest of the questions here are rather challenging, this is the part that helps them balance the paper. And that's why in this differential equation, it seemed like a tutorial question. It seemed like one of those that is from the old syllabus where your differential equation only focus on one variable. No doubt that is a weakness. However, in terms of the skills required in this paper, more than relevant. And the best part about this paper is again the integration question. Not just in terms of application, but also the technique. The technique wise really challenges a student to understand your A math knowledge in terms of how to use your trigo identity, and then beyond that, your reversal of your chain rule technique, and also together with your integration by parts. And therefore, there really isn't much to complain about in this paper, even though there are some flaws in this paper. So it should come as no surprise that the relevance of this paper is rather solid. It will be given 7.5 out of 10. Next, insightfulness. This I have so much to say. Let's just focus on the application of integration question. You can see my tutorial right here. The question that I like very much is question 7 from AJC 2013 promo. By now you should realize the similarity. Your question 3 is very similar to this AJC 13 promo question. And this question 3 in this WA is the watered down version. In what sense? They found all the intersection for you. In what sense? They actually transformed the graph a bit more so that it's easier to deal with. But then there are still some problems here and there, which is the common denominator in both these questions. Do you really understand what it means by area under the graph? Because if you don't, this question will easily tear you apart, leaving no shreds behind. And this question is so multi-layered, so many learning points from it. Not just about the meaning of area under the graph or the volume generated by the graph, but also what is the difference between solving for area versus the volume, apart from just looking at the formula. And another key part about this question is it essentially combines your functions topic together with your application of integration. Because you realize this question is not a function. Because a function will have to fulfill the vertical line test, this is not a function, and you recognize this to be a hyperbola. What's the implication of that? How does it relate to how you solve for an F inverse function where you need it to be a 1-to-1 and then you have to reject a certain root? If you understood your functions very well, this question will be your gateway to an A, and just by getting full credit for this question, you can easily chuck aside the chapter of application of integration because clearly you already understand area under the graph, volume generated by the graph, and also with your functions. You are clearly ready for for any type of application of integration question, and I congratulate you on that. And therefore, even without looking at the rest of the question, even though this question itself could have been watered down compared to the AJC 2013 promo version, this in itself would give the Insightfulness a rather spectacular score already. But together with the rest of the paper, the small parts of the question, there is simply a high amount of learning value that you can draw from this paper. And therefore, it should come as no surprise that the Insightfulness of this paper would be given a rather spectacular, but not perfect, 9 out of 10. And simply because it's so insightful, simply because there are so many learning points, and simply because this is only a WA1 and not a prelim paper, this will appear more challenging than usual for most of you. And this is not usual in a WA setting. We have seen in the past couple of years where schools will set WA that are a bit more reasonable in terms of how deep they go in the question or in terms of the length of the paper. This paper actually went deep and then made the paper very hard to complete. There is going to be time management issues. And I don't just mean that in terms of thinking about how to solve question 3, question 5, but also the effort required in solving some of this question. For example, the simultaneous equation question, because of the conjugate part, because of the extra I, it is going to cause you some problems. And also the differential equation, the negative coefficient of your x squared, also potentially a pitfall for careless mistakes. And therefore, on top of this paper being insightful, this paper is also going to squeeze you in terms of the time management and thereby giving you more pressure than usual. And I wouldn't be surprised that most of you do not complete this paper. And for the students who do complete this paper, if you get more than a B, hats off to you. But that is not to say that the entire paper is unfair. Some questions were used to balance out certain parts of this paper. And to me, in this paper, there are clear tiers to each of the questions. There's a clear anchor question in question 3. That's clearly a tier 3, the hardest question of the paper. And there's also mid-tier questions like question 4 and question 5, which falls under tier 2. And the rest of the questions are just tier 1, where it's just looking out for the arithmetic, looking out for the careless mistakes, looking out for how you manipulate the algebra. So yes, they do try to balance the paper, but I do see the challenges in this paper. I do see the problems in this paper. For the J2s who are still fresh to these topics, I empathize, I understand. And therefore, the difficulty of this paper will be given a higher than average 8 out of 10. Overall, I like this paper. Not so much in the setting of a WA1, but more of a paper to use as revision package with students who are looking to prepare for all these topics that have been affected by the new syllabus. The differential equation question, not the best, but the complex numbers question, okay. And the best part about this paper, and the clear thing that they are testing for in this paper to sieve out for the students who are deserving of an A, is through the integration question. Not just in terms of technique, but also the application. And the fact that I found questions similar to what you see here in question 3 from the older promo papers shows how much value there is in this question, how much learning points that could be delivered in this question. And this question is rare. The only other time I've seen such a question is in 2025 VJC, I believe it's paper 1. If not, it's gotta be paper 2. You want a second try? Go and try the VJ paper. In short, there is just so much to share in this paper by going through it. But in terms of giving students confidence, in terms of helping students do well for their WA, I don't see that as the goal of this paper. I don't see that as the strength of this paper. In fact, this paper is not so much to build up confidence. It's more to instill in you that there is still a long way to go and there is still a lot more to learn in a lot of these chapters. And hence, the overall score of this paper, no doubt, a very solid 8.5 out of 10. And if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, a fair expectation of him would be 65% in order for him to score an A in his actual A levels. Finally, who I recommend this paper to? I recommend this paper to students who are looking to do a topical revision for all these topics being tested. And I don't recommend you to try it under one sitting as a time practice, unless you're going towards your prelim period and your clear weakness is only in this few topics, and therefore you don't want to try a full prelim paper, you want to just focus on doing all this well. This paper will fit you for that. But if you're J2 right now and you have your very own WA1 coming and also test on these topics, this will be a good revision package for you. Because the most important thing about the questions in this paper is that you go through them with someone who's experienced and have someone dissect the question for you. Sure, you may look at the answer, but I promise you, even the answers may not make sense to you. And even if it does make sense to you, it will not give you the full value of this question, because ultimately, question 3 is a combination of integration techniques, application of integration together with your functions, where it really tests you on whether you understand functions to a deeper level, or is it just on the surface and it's only enough for you to pass. And therefore, if you are a student looking to do topical revision on the JC2 topics, integration, differential equation and complex numbers, where you have a mentor ready to explain to you the full learning points of all this question to really draw the insights and maximize the learning value by completing this paper, not necessarily under time practice, this paper will be perfect for you. Alright, so we have come to the end of this prelim paper review of 2025 Anderson Serangoon Junior College JC2 H2 Math WA1. Now if you like what I'm doing, follow me on TikTok, like my video, comment and share with your friends. I'm sure this will help them because ultimately I'm on my way to 10,000 followers. And if you would like to try this paper, you're invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary along with the download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how I did. And yes, I have started a tuition center. It is located near Boon Keng and ASRJC. Regular classes are up and running, and for the incoming JC1s, I have something special for you. This Sunday, there will be a free walk-in trial class on 15th February 2026, 1 PM onwards. So you don't want to miss it, and I will see you there. Nothing else. This is Yao from Vantage Tutor, a class above the rest. Take care.